Hi everyone, I'm Soraya Rhea and welcome to my review of 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Episode 3. So last week's episode was the premiere of this series of 90 Day Fiancé, but it was actually a 2-hour episode, so it was 2 episodes combined into one. So this week's episode was actually episode 3, even though this is just the second week that the series has premiered. So, all right, let's get into it. So first up, we have Sumit and Jenny. Slight recap. Sumit is 30 years old, lives in New Delhi, India, and Jenny is 60 and from Palm Springs, California. So, okay, what's crazy about this couple now is that Sumit, although he feels like, all right, he's stepping up to the plate now and deciding, you know what, I don't care what my family thinks, I'm gonna get married to Jenny. But what's his plan? His plan is to lie to his parents and tell him, his plan is to lie to his parents in order to be able to get out of his parents' house. Because he's at home living with mommy and daddy now. So, so in order for him to get out, he's not telling them, hey, I'm going to go marry the love of my life. He's just telling them that, oh, I got a new job in a different town and therefore I have to move and leave. So now I'm like, okay, so now this is like teenager stuff. Like, Jenny, you are Sumit is a grown man too. He's an adult, but Jenny, you're really dealing with like some baby stuff right now with him trying to lie to his family and lie to his parents, and not tell them the truth. So it's like he's standing up in a way, but then he's actually really not. And that's a problem to me. Now, I understand there are specific reasons why he's not willing to be honest, or at least not be honest right now or right away. I don't know. It's cultural, it's expectations, it's, perhaps religious as well, and all of that. But again, if it was me, I'd be well, of course it wouldn't be me. I would not be on this show. But I would just have a problem with the lying and not being honest. That's not grown up. That's not adult. That is ridiculous. But anyway, and one of when he said that, I was like, okay, I have questions. Well, how close are they going to live, him and Jenny? What town are they going to live in, or city? Is it close to where he currently lives now with his parents? And is there any chance of them running into each other or not, And what else? Oh yeah, does he plan to go back and visit his family? Does he plan to, be around them? Or is he saying all right, I'm going to go get this new job and move to this new town and I'll see you guys next year? What's the plan? Okay. Anyway, and then I'm wondering, I'm like, is this a stunt, instigated by TLC, or, is this for real? So I don't know. I was kind of going back and forth, but I felt like because he didn't allow the cameras into his parents' home, that maybe it was the real deal. Whatever. Anyway, back in California, Jenny is doing an early Christmas celebration with her family because by the time she is in India, that's when Christmas will occur. So she wants to be able to have her last Christmas with her family. And the other issue with it is that Jenny is going to go away and essentially not come back for quite some time. She doesn't even have, I'm assuming that she just has this one-way ticket because she expects to come back not at least for a year or even a year and a half. So that's quite some time. Her daughters are really concerned with her safety. And after I really thought about it, I was like, yeah, they are actually making really good points. They don't know anybody. They've probably just FaceTimed or Skyped with Sumit a few times around their mom. But they don't know him. So if something happens to her, who would let them know? To the point if she is unable to communicate for herself or whatever, I don't know. I hope at the very least that Sumit, does get the contact information for her family, that, God forbid something awful happens, that he would be able to reach out to them and let them know. But, obviously let's hope that nothing happens to her. as she's talking to her daughters, they're getting emotional and, really wishing that she wouldn't go. And again, there's a huge concern for her safety, which is completely understandable. But Jenny is, again, saying these classic lovers lines like, I've gone too far and I just can't stop it. And look, no, I'm not going to say I hear you. Yes, I understand, but no, I mean, let's be honest, people. Like, these are decisions that you're making. These are choices that you have, and these are decisions that you're making. You can't stop things. Like, I mean, Jenny, have you ever heard of people, leaving their fiancé at the altar, or somebody being jilted at the altar? People change their minds right up to the last minute, and you're not even getting married just yet. Like, you're getting on a plane to then go to the country to be with your beloved and then get married. It's like, yeah, you can decide not to get on that plane. The way that Paul did not get on his plane last week, mind you, for different reasons. You have a choice up until the last minute. Yes, I understand. You quit your job, you did whatever, but like, you don't even know what you have in set up in India, anyway. Her goodbyes were actually really sad. Like, they are upset, the grandkids, her daughters, it's pretty emotional. And so, okay, let me just say this. When I watch these shows, so like when I watch these shows, to me, it's like, okay, there's like my real self, my real life self, and then my entertainment self. So sometimes I'm going to give like advice or like opinions based on my real life self, which is like, if this was like a truly real life situation, like what would I for real do, versus like what would I say, but like I'm talking in the entertainment world, in the reality show world, and not like what I would do in real life and when things really matter. So what I would say like my real self in this instance, I mean, my parents are together, so, but like, if something were to happen, they weren't whatever, and they did something stupid like this and mess somebody, whatever, no, I'd throw my body down. I can cuff myself to my mom or whatever. I call the cops on her and get her on the no-fly list or something. Like, no, you are not going. I don't care. This would not fly. Anyway, so their segment basically ends at the end of the show, but I'm just, going couple by couple. How does this end up? This is how crazy you are, Sumit. He waits until hours of Jenny landing in India to break the news to his parents that he got this new job and then he's moving out and, moving to a new town within hours. He tells the camera crew that he'll be back in 15 minutes. And then then the producers are talking to each other. An hour has passed and Sumit still has not emerged. And then they're talking back and forth and saying, when is Jenny's plane land? And then one of them says, like within 30 minutes, and it takes an hour to get to the airport apparently from where they are. So they're just like, okay, they're not going to make it. And I'm like, okay, wait. You wait until the same day, within hours, Sumit? First of all, you lying. Second of all, you're waiting to literally the last minute. Like, I'm a procrastinator, but this is a bit much. And my question actually is, wait a minute, where are him and Jenny staying tonight? Does he already have an apartment set up? Or are they going to be at an Airbnb? Are they going to a hotel tonight? Like, what's happening tonight? So the show ends with Jenny waiting for Sumit, and he's not there, he's not coming, and she's like, what's going on? And I think I remember one time with like, was it Darcy or somebody? Somebody was like, you need to always have a plan B. Always have a plan B. You need to be a grown-up. Or maybe was that a reviewer that I read that said to always have a plan B, watched, that said to always have a plan B. Whatever. Yes, always have your plan B. Like, just in case homeboy does not pick you up. And obviously she noticed that like her phone wasn't working, which I'm like, okay, wait, what did you think? Like, did you get in an international plan and then it's not working, or did she forget? I mean, you've been there before. So anyway, what's for the cameras, what's not, I don't know. So yeah, so Jenny is currently stranded, but I believe she's going to be picked up and he's just going to be late. But my big question is, where are they sleeping tonight? Okay. So that's Jenny and Sumit. All right. Let's go to Paul and Karini. Okay, so one thing that I did notice that Karini seems to be understanding more English because she definitely had like a full-on conversation in English back and forth. If you remember with previous 90-day seasons when, you know, Paul and Karini were on, and especially during their first season, which I want to say was a before the 90 days series, right? You know, they were using the translator on the phone back and forth, you know, typing back and forth to each other and then hearing the voiced translator. But, you know, his conversation with Karini was pretty decent. So go ahead, Karini, for learning, for understanding more English. That's great. And hopefully Paul can do the same. So Karini was upset when she found out that he did not get on the plane and didn't just come. She basically said exactly what his mom said, just take 2 bags. I still kind of understand Paul. I'm going to give it to you, Paul. I really will, honestly, because I can understand him kind of, it's like that man thing. Like, well, what do you want me to bring? And then he doesn't want to choose things himself when, you know, maybe Karini would have been like, oh, I wouldn't have brought that. I would have brought this. Like, this is more important. So I still give it to Paul. I think I still would have been like, no, let me not go unless I specifically were to talk to Karini at that point and then she'd tell me exactly what to bring and then consolidate into the 2 bags. Anyway, he then decides, she's upset. So then he basically leaves the conversation or ends the conversation with her expecting that he'll come within a month when the embargo is over. But then he thinks about it, talks to, you know, an agent from the airline and is able to get on a flight the next day. So he decides to just do the consolidation himself. So hopefully he took those diapers out of there because clearly that was not that's wasted valuable space. So he decides not to call Karini or let her know. Now with that, I don't know what that means, like who's gonna pick him up or whatever. And I'm assuming where Karini is right now. See, I haven't watched all of the back series and episodes of 90 Day. I'm actually like doing that now through Hulu. But so I feel like Karini is not living in like the original town that Paul came to visit her originally, I think, right? Because that town, you know, off the Amazon, in the Amazon, whatever, that where he had to take a boat to get to, you know. Anyway, but he basically wants to surprise her and let, you know, basically the next day, and he'll come to her with just his 2 bags or his 2 tubs, you know. Now, Paul's mom, again, she's the MVP for standing her ground and not being bamboozled into financially supporting Paul and his decisions that she didn't agree with. But, you know, they really have a special relationship to the point where his mom gave him a very special gift from her heart, which was a necklace or chain of some sort and a lock of her hair. Well, so like, I'm like, people do that? People do that? I actually just watched Sense and Sensibility, like a BBC, you know, not, I guess, I can't remember what the year was, you know, version of Sense and Sensibility. And so like, I get it. That was like a thing, like, I don't know, I guess like an old English thing, you know, she could lock up my hair, you know, but like from mom to son, okay. But here's the thing. This is not the first time that she did it, because when Paul left the first time, mama gave him a lock of her hair, but not the nice, like, clipped, curled, coiled lock of her hair that she gave in a box this time. She actually, apparently she was in a rush last time, or maybe just wasn't as prepared, and just, like, took out her hair from the comb. Dear. And Paul was touched then, in tears both times. And I'm like, all right, so that's clearly something that some people do and others don't, because like Paul, I mean, if Paul's mom was black, you know, that would not happen. I mean, it ain't no black chick would be like, you are not worth this. Do you know how long it took me to grow this inch? Okay. Or even this centimeter. All right. The prenatal vitamins, the evening pre-roast oil and biotin, and, you know, the scalp massages, and, the pre-poos and the steaming and, the protective styles and whatever. I mean, no. And here's the thing. You'd be lucky if she would even want you to give you a strand or two from her comb. First of all, she wants to make sure that there are as few strands of hair in the comb. All right. And that's if she combs her hair. Cause some of us, we just be doing the finger detangles. Right. But those of us that do use a comb every now and again, it's like a big deal when extra hair comes out in the comb. Right. And you gotta analyze that, the hair that's in the comb. You need to make sure that there's a follicle attached so that represents natural shedding and not breakage. And, if there is some breakage, she's gonna want to check that hair comb for split ends and knots and whatnot. So, anyway, I just say all that to say, it wouldn't be a black woman giving no lock of no hair, no nothing. Anyway, Paul is off. So that's it for them. Let's move on to, the new couple that we meet this week. It was just one new couple, right? And I believe there's at least one, if not two couples left to meet. Because I know that there's someone who, the person from abroad is from Korea. So I know we've yet to meet them. But this week we meet Laura, who is 51, and Aladdin, who is 29. Laura is retired. She's originally from Toronto, Canada, but is retired in Florida and lives with her son. And I believe he's 21. And Aladdin is 29, from Tunisia, but lives in Qatar. So first of all, my first question was, have we been pronouncing Aladdin wrong this whole time? Like, is it like Aladdin? A whole new world. I mean, so now I feel some type of way, and even with the new movie out, like, is it Aladdin? Like, is that what that name is, right? So I'm a little annoyed with that, but anyway, I'm a stickler for names being pronounced correctly. My name has always been mispronounced. Anyway, so Laura, Aladdin is a personal trainer. Laura, I can't remember if she said what she did before, but who cares? They met on social media, as expected, and she visited Qatar after they had been communicating for a year online. But then within 3 days of her being there, he proposed to her. All right, what's interesting with her story, which I know that's like the talk that everybody's talking about, is that she got her husband. So she was married before for 8 years. Again, I don't know if it was the father of her son or not, but she didn't, I don't remember her noting whether or not it was, but I just think it's such a sad, but like boss story on her side, but like, she said she caught her husband on a dating website, while they were married. And once she realized that, like, he was on this dating website, so clearly he's looking to have an affair, and so she decides to get on the website and catfish her husband. Oh, love it. But like, she like took her time, like, I mean, who knows what the timeline was? I mean, who knows? It could have been like a week or 2 weeks. I don't know. But still, like, it, like, I don't know. I feel like, how long could I hold that in, knowing that, like, I found your information and you on this website, Well, homegirl took her time, and she got him real good because she, used a fake picture, communicated with him, and, as this younger woman said that she really liked bald guys or bald heads. Now, I don't know if she then specifically asked him, like, oh, would you shave your head for me? Like doing a Delilah thing. Hello, Bible scholars. Okay. Samson and Delilah. Or, did she just like say, yeah, like, I really like bald guys? Because if it was the latter, I'm like, really? That's all somebody had to do to get you to be like, let me shave my head? So that here's what happened. This fake girl who's Laura, who Laura's pretending to be, her husband then comes to her and says, would you mind if I shave my head? And again, how she kept her composure, I do not understand. And she shaves his head for him. I mean, there's so many boss levels on, I don't even say that, but like, she's a boss on so many levels with this whole thing. And she even said, she was like, it took everything in her to not like, you know, like cut his neck. But she said once he came to her with that, she knew her marriage was over. What a shame. I mean, that's what a shame. So she admits because of this, she has issues with trusting men. And then she's also concerned. She is aware and concerned about the age difference between her and Aladdin. But again, you know, she says that there are no guarantees. I think it was her who said that there are no guarantees when it comes to love. I think she had this conversation with her son. And yes, that is true. We cannot control anyone, right? But to me, there are wise and not wise choices, you know? I think we have to get to know them a little bit more to really kind of see, like, you know, is this wise? Is this truly foolish? Or is this like, okay? Because, all right, look, we cannot deny that there are couples, whether it's the woman that's older or the man that's older, you know, with 2 decades in between them. We cannot deny that there are couples that do exist that have, you know, a huge age gap that go on to have loving relationships, or that the relationship really was true and genuine and loving from jump, you know? Yeah, you know, so, but I do think that her son made a really good point. And this is where I hate kind of noting this, but, you know, he does make a point that when it is the woman that is older, decades older, you know, either approaching menopause or already going through menopause, what is it like for the younger man to then be with this woman knowing that they would not have children with her, you know? Now, obviously, not everybody wants children. Or some people are okay with, you know, maybe using a surrogate if they really want to have children together, or they're, you know, okay with adopting or stuff like that, which that's fine. Obviously, there's different ways to, you know, have a family. But, you know, I do wonder, like, how does that play out, you know? Or do these men, are they concerned with that, you know? Are they concerned with having a family, having children specifically with their, you know, older woman? Let's go on to Cory and Evelyn. Okay, so Cory speaks to his parents and basically lets them know, again, for the cameras, I do not believe that they did not know that he was getting ready to go to Ecuador. Like, this was for the cameras. This is for us, you know, to be able to see this. So, you know, so he tells his parents he's going to go to Ecuador. Clearly, they've had this discussion that, you know, he's going to propose, or he has proposed to her, and, you know, they're going to go ahead and get married. Now, what's unclear about them is, you know, I mean, I'm assuming that they're going to get married in Ecuador, but, like, does that mean that they're going to have, like, a full-on ceremony where his family's going to come down? Which I would imagine. I mean, like, they look like they would come down whenever that would be scheduled. So, yeah, whenever a date is set. So, you know, and also because they're Mormon. Like, they're about family. They are a religious family. Like, I do not think that they're okay with just like, oh, you're just going to go get married. All right, cool. All right, send us some pictures. Send us a postcard. No, I definitely think that they want to be involved. Anyway, so Cory's dad did note, which I was like, kind of shady, but all right. He said that he thinks that Evelyn is more invested in the relationship, or like, no, excuse me, that Cory is more invested in the relationship and likes Evelyn more than she likes him. You know, I mean, I agree. At least because she comes off very just kind of like independent, like, I could take it or leave it. I could take it or leave it. But to me, the fact that she came and lived for several months in Washington and, you know, with her visitor's visa, clearly she is committed to the relationship enough. You know, she did leave her home, and it wasn't just for like a 2-week visit, you know? So, and she probably viewed her time in Washington as her opportunity to just try to see if they could get along, and live together in Washington, which obviously last week we realized that she was like not about to live in Washington. So, yeah. I'm not sure why Cory's mom during this conversation says, well, you don't have to rush into marriage. What do you mean rush? They've been together for a number of years, I believe, as well. I don't think any of these couples are just months into their relationship. I think they have all been together for years, you know? So, yeah. And then again, being that they're Mormon and that they likely support like the courtship model of like pre-marriage stuff, relations, this is more than enough time. The fact that she was there and for 6 months and they didn't get married then, to me, is actually quite surprising. Again, she's 27, he's like 32, I think, right? So again, it's not like they're like young, you know, they're definitely appropriate age to, you know, move forward with marriage. They've lived around each other. They've done that, which I think was, again, a good move to make, given that they had lived in, you know, given that they're from 2 different countries. So I'm not sure why mom said that. Maybe it was just for the cameras again. I don't know. He also said, Cory also said, I have 0 options now. I have 0 options. So, you know, I'm just going to move forward. Now, again, I think this is a real relationship. I think Cory is completely in love with Evelyn and, you know, is ready to marry her and wants to be with her, and all of that. But again, I have no options. It's too late for me to turn back now, you know, all of that kind of thinking. I just, my real self says, you always have options. You always have choices. This is a choice you are making. Nobody is forcing you into this. Love is a choice, from who you choose to where and how your relationship, you know, plays out, and, you know, and all of that. You know, I can understand when people say that I've invested so much in this relationship and I don't want to just let it go. Fine, I get that. But, you know, I have 0 options. Yes, you do. You have options. Then the other big thing with Cory was just that he went to the doctor to get his vaccines, like, you know, for whatever illnesses that he would be potentially exposed to. And then I guess the prescription for the malaria medication that he was taking. I don't know why he acted like, malaria's not deadly, is it? And the doctor was like, yeah, people die from malaria all the time, you know? And he was like, oh, really? I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, Cory, you met Evelyn in Ecuador. So this cannot be the first time that you're getting these vaccines. And I'm sure this is not the first time you're having a conversation with a doctor about these illnesses, these potential illnesses and all that. So again, for the cameras, why? Anyway, moving on. Cory has a legit phobia to needles. So I've never seen that before. Like, I mean, I've heard of, like, you know, obviously different phobias, but like the phobia for needles, I guess I didn't realize, like, he literally had to psych himself up just to be stuck. So, you know, I mean, I did feel bad for him because he was like doing push-ups in the hallway. He looked like he was gonna throw up or whatever. Like, he was breathing deep. Honestly, he should like take a Xanax next time. I mean, for real. Like, I mean, if it's that bad, like, you should take some kind of like medication for the anxiety, because he shouldn't have to go through that. I mean, he has a phobia. I mean, it is what it is. It's something that it's irrational and all of that, you know. I mean, I'm surprised that he didn't smack the doctor's hand away when he went in with the needle, finally. And yeah, I will say this. I have had the nasal test, the nasal flu test. I had that done a couple weeks ago. It was the worst thing ever. I don't care. I will, it does not matter if they want to test me for the flu. I'll be like, nope. I'll just wing it. I'll just say that I have it, and let's leave it at that. No, that was the worst weird pain that I ever experienced in my life. Like, you put it up your nasal. I don't understand. Like, it was super quick, and like my tears were streaming from my eyes for a while, and I felt the pain up till the next day. It was so bad. So yeah, so next time if somebody tries to do that, I will knock your hand out. So, you know, anyway, that's it. So not really, since this was just a 1 hour episode, there wasn't really much that happened. So we'll see what happens next week. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, and please like, and honestly, I hate it when YouTubers say this, but I would appreciate it if you like the video, but really comment below. Like, I just want to know, what are you guys thinking? What did you think about this episode? What did you think about some of my comments or whatever? Yeah, please comment below and let's chat. All right, see you next week.